Mumbai Indians like to cut it fine, and they certainly did that against the Knight Riders in an exhilarating win on their home ground, which I may add Sunir was a witness to. Lucky guy. This is Mumbai's second home game, but it's against last year's champions and currently the unbeaten Sunrisers on Wednesday night. Hi Sunir, how was that experience of Mumbai Indians versus the Kolkata Knight Riders the other day?
It was exciting. I've been to a couple of Mumbai matches before, and they've lost all the matches that I've been to. So this is the first time I went, and Mumbai won. And this was also the first time that I was in the press box for a Mumbai Indians match. So that was a special feeling as well.
Maybe that was the lucky charm. But one victory makes for no momentum, especially not in this format. And I'm talking about the Mumbai Indians. But surely a team goes into their next game with a lot of confidence, knowing they don't need their big ticket players to win matches for them.
You hit it on the head. Momentum counts for very little in this format, but yep, when it comes to confident, it is wins like these, the one against the Kolkata Knight Riders, that help boost it up during pressure situations. Mumbai will believe that they came back from having their backs to the wall thanks to the likes of Nitish Rana and the Pandya brothers. Even if the likes of Joss Butler, Rohit Sharma and Kieron Pollard, three of the more experienced players in the team, were dismissed, which augurs really well for the side going into the game like this against the defending champions and against a team that is on an early roll in the tournament.
Speaking of Pollard, a lot of chatter about his tete-a-tete with IPL commentator Sanjay Manjrekar. What do you make of that?
That was coming. I was in the press box, so I'm not really sure about what was said during commentary because the TV volumes are turned off out there. But it's tough to imagine that Sanjay Manjrekar actually called Pollard brainless, which was the allegation or the supposed allegation on Twitter, and also the alleged trigger point in the incident. There's this article on the Scroll which looked into the issue, and what Manjrekar seems to have said is, does Pollard have the range as a batsman at number 3 rather than brain? Interestingly, it was Tino Best who tweeted to Pollard about this particular incident, and he followed it up with another emotional tweet about not getting treated right by people around. Look, putting all of that aside, because I'm sure there'll be ramifications of that between the players, between the people involved, the cricketing point is getting lost in the controversy, and that simply is that Pollard needs to get going as a batsman. Didn't have a great Big Bash League, found some of his mojo during the Pakistan Super League, but is coming off an IPL season last year in which he averaged 25 with a bat. And if he can rediscover some of his match-winning touch down the order, don't think he would even need a Twitter account to give it back to any kind of critical commentator. But for now, he needs to score those runs at number 6, 5 or 6 or 7, or whenever he comes onto bat, Shruti.
But do you think that would warrant any changes for this Mumbai Indians side then?
I must say, I was very impressed by the Mumbai Indians bringing in an extra bowler last game. Ambati Rayudu was ruled out, I think, because of injury, and they brought in Harbhajan Singh in his place. So there's a bowler for batsman replacement. And Harbhajan Singh responded with figures of none for 27 from his 4 overs. That aside, Lasith Malinga's entry to the side helps. He bagged a couple of wickets at a time where Suryakant Yadav and Chris Wokes could have run away with the game. And against the Sunrisers Hyderabad, I'm interested in understanding how will they manage their tactics against Rashid Khan. So Rohit Sharma could look to jump up the order, bat when the ball is new, and by the time Rashid Khan comes into bowl, he has his eye in rather than go up at number 4 or 5, and Rashid Khan is probably in the middle of a great spell. And if it's difficult to accommodate Partha Patel down at 4 or 5 because that's not his batting position, you can very well drop him, have Butler keep wickets, and bring in an Indian batsman like a Saurav Tiwari could get a look. And so those are the two possible changes that I see. But again, it also needs people to understand that there could be injuries in the last moment. Shruti, moving on to you, what's your call on the Mumbai Indians? Will they have the tenacity to make it 2 wins in a row?
Mumbai have this uncanny habit of creating problems for themselves, and they don't seem to be sparing themselves in this match either. I'll elaborate. They start well with the bat, confident, aggressive, on top. Then there's this slump. Runs do come, but that's more from the opposition's kindness, but it's not enough. The last 4 overs leave them with a lot to do. When it comes to their bowling, they appear to be more consistently controlled and steady than they were against Kolkata. But again, Mumbai may be another team that may display some poor fielding initially, Hopefully no poor umpiring, Sunil.
Yes, as I said yesterday, the fight for the wooden spoon this IPL season seems to be between poor catching and horrible umpiring. And there seems to be no clear winners so far, but one thing is for sure that so far there have been a lot of catches put down and umpiring gaffes, so to say.
Yes, indeed. Now, what about the Sunrisers Hyderabad? A title win last season and suddenly 2 wins in a row makes them title favourites again?
What they did between those two things was also that they picked some daring players during the IPL auction like Rashid Khan and Mohammad Nabi, and had the courage to play Rashid. It's quite easy to pick players up from the lower ranked teams, the associates, and then relegate them to the bench. But Tom Moody and company have had quite a brilliant auction and a decent decision to play them as well, and that's paying rich benefits to them.
It's been very impressive, and that strong bowling squad that we had discussed even before the start of the tournament is really coming to the fore for the Sunrisers already.
And yes, and mind you, they are without Mustafizur Rahman, and the Sunrisers don't seem a team that's missing him too much, which is speaking a great deal about the kind of squad that they have. To a large extent, Rashid's wicket-taking ability has taken over from Rahman, but let's not underestimate the role of Bhuvneshwar Kumar here. He has been equally tough to get away. 2 matches in which he has given away less than 6 an over and picked up a couple of wickets each, and he has been picking those wickets at different stages of the game. That's worth its weight in gold, Shruti.
Yes, and for a team now that has won 2 matches in a row, surely you wouldn't want Warner and co to change anything around in the team.
Not really, but sometimes there are those niggles and fitness issues that I was speaking about. And then there's always a consideration for a different pitch, which would be the case at the Wankhede. The last one that was used at the Wankhede came to the bat rather well, but some surfaces at the Wankhede can assist bowling a lot more, which could necessitate a look at the lineup. I'd expressed surprise earlier at Kane Williamson's exclusion from the side, and he's third in the ICC's T20 rankings as well. But I think Moses Enrique has done a good job as a batsman for the Sydney Sixers, and now in the IPL, he scored a 50 in the last game, batting at 3, to prove his worth in that position. Apparently, Mustafizur will be back too, but that remains to be seen. If he does walk back into the team, I think that would be at the expense of Ben Cutting, but that weakens the batting a tad bit more, which means that someone like a Bipul Sharma or even Ashish Nehra could be dropped for an Indian batsman, say a Vijay Shankar or Eklavya Dwivedi. Shruti, now that we've spoken about both teams, you spoke about Mumbai and you spoke about some kind of kindness from Hyderabad. What was all that about?
Oh, yes, I did. The Sunrisers with their bowling lineup, which we've been praising right now, surprisingly may not be at their best. So although Mumbai will give them opportunities, they won't be able to choke them enough. So decent bowling, but probably not good enough. Now I'll just get onto their batting as well. It builds a good, strong foundation. Then they could lose way in the middle overs, only to regain some composure and momentum towards the end. One last thing. I don't see major fielding disasters, but some nervous energy could be quite visible.
And Shruti, who will it be then?
Now, if I say Mumbai Indians, you're not going to be surprised. And frankly, I don't plan to surprise you either. But in all seriousness, these are 2 tough sides who won't want to give up. But there is better teamwork coming through for Mumbai, which is why it's tire advantage Mumbai Indians.
Yes, still waiting for the day when you say advantage belongs to some other opposition, some other Mumbai's opposition. Shruti, still waiting.
Well, Sunil, Kolkata did have a chance if they won that toss and batted second. I did say the team batting second and just happened to be Mumbai. Now, what about you, Sunil? Who's your favorite?
I would go with the team batting second in this game, Shruti.
Great. So Sunil's going with the team batting second. I'm going with the Mumbai Indians. Thank you for joining us for this one. I will be back very soon with my prediction of match number 11, Kolkata Knight Riders versus Kings 11 Punjab. But until then, bye-bye.